Yo, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we will be checking out the final units for update 7.0, and that is the battle pass units. So we have the final two units being the tier 25 and the tier 50 units, Reimu, I'm so sorry if I am butchering that, and Sakuya. These two units are pretty cool. Honestly, I think they are pretty decent. So yeah, let's get straight into showcasing both of these. So the first unit that we will be checking out is Reimu. They are 1600 to place down. They are a 3 placement and they are holy. So placing her down, if we go ahead and look at her AoE, it shows that she has a full AoE. Do not let this deceive you. She is not a full AoE unit. The reason being she has a full AoE on placement is because her attack AoE is actually dynamically changing depending on how long she's attacking an enemy. So to understand it more, let's go ahead and read her passive. So her passive is a Bullet Hell Shrine Maiden. After attacking 20 times, this unit will gain a new attack layer. These layers will drop when there are no targets, up to 3 layers. This unit attacks on a 0.2 SPA. This number cannot be changed and only attacks enemies within the visible layers. So the visible layers, as you can see, she is attacking in a line real quick if I upgrade her, because this makes it a lot easier to show off her layers. She is attacking in one line currently. After she attacks 20 times, it changes to 2 layers. So now she is getting the additional cards on the side, and now she's at 3 layers where she is attacking on, the 3rd layer, where she's just sending out a bunch of projectiles. Now she's actually attacking like in order, so one of them will be a single projectile, then it'll be 3 projectiles, and then she'll shoot out 5 projectiles. I'll go more in detail about it right now real quick for you, and then we can go back to looking at her damage. Okay, so to quickly go over how her layers work, as you can see, every 0.2 seconds she is attacking with 1 projectile. It's hitting for 314 damage each projectile that gets thrown out. Going into layer 2, it now changes. So she throws 3 projectiles into 1 projectile. The first hit hits for 628 and 314, and then the second only hits for 314 when we see it come up. There we go, 314 right there. So if we add these two basically separate attacks together, it will equal 1.2k damage, which is doubling the damage over those 2 hits. It is basically just, if you were to split that in half, because that's 2 individual hits, that would be 628 damage. And then going into the 3rd layer, the 3rd layer changes to where it rotates between 3 projectiles and 5 projectiles. So if we go ahead and see the damage for this hit right here, it is kind of weirdly delayed, but if we can try to figure out how many hits, so I believe this is 3 hits here, so it is the 628, and then there's 2 314s, so that is 1.2k right there. And then if we continue, we get the next hit, which the next hit is a 314 and 314, so it is adding basically another 628 to it, which means that the total damage is essentially tripling. It doesn't change too much. It just means that she is getting more projectiles. It is still only hitting 1 time each time she does hit, so even though we are getting more damage numbers, it still is only counting as a single hit. It's just displaying damage numbers separately. I didn't really need to explain this, but it's just kind of interesting how it works. After understanding her attacks more, she has 1.6k damage. She attacks every 0.2 seconds, so if we times it by 5, she'll be around 8.1k DPS. Her displayed SPA is 1 second. This is because this is the lowest display SPA you can get in anime Vanguards. That just is the thing. This cannot change or go any lower. So her DPS currently at layer 1 is around 8.1k DPS. If we go to 2 layers, that's around to 16k DPS, and then going up to 3 layers, that's around 24k DPS. So she is a fairly strong unit for being pretty cheap through placement. Now looking at her ability, she gets Evil Sealing Circle. This is a 200-second cooldown, a local cooldown, so it can work on every single unit. You can use this ability on everybody that you do have placed. Sets this unit to 4 layers for 10 seconds. Upon ending, sets them to 3 layers. So the 4th layer for this unit is in fact a full AoE, which is pretty nice. I'll just go ahead and pop it just just to showcase what it looks like. So as you can see, she is attacking in every direction. Fairly certain it hits everybody in this full AoE, which is pretty good. Honestly, a pretty nice unit. She is a really good shield breaker as well, being a 0.2 seconds SPA. Looking at her monarch damage real quick, if we go ahead and put King's Burden on, place her, upgrade her, she's at 6.4k damage. If we times that by 5, that is around 32k damage. Layer 2, that goes up to 64k damage, and then layer 3, that's around 96,000 damage every second. Pretty crazy unit, honestly. I think she is a very strong unit. Looking at her second passive, she has Unfathomable Luck. Dodges all attacks. This includes Quake, Explode, any sort of units that actually directly attack her. Pretty good. Any game mode with luck-based mechanics, this being Odyssey and Dungeons, this unit greatly increases the odds of anything rare to occur. This being modifiers or cards, basically. This does not affect any sort of drop rate, so you can't bring this into like the new EX stage and then have a higher chance of getting Aaron. So that pretty much is the first unit. Last thing I will showcase though, this is something that goes over both of these units that we'll be showing, is she is very good to pair with Sakura. The reason being is that how Sakura works is she can take SPA from someone to lower her own SPA, and then what happens is units actually attack on Sakura's SPA. So she is at 8 seconds right now, SPA. If we were to put it onto Reimu, she goes all the way to 5-second SPA. So that means all corrupted units should be attacking every 5 seconds. But for Reimu's case, it does not change because she has this unit attacks on a 0.2 SPA, and this number cannot be changed. Sakura can benefit from her 1-second SPA, and then this unit is able to basically keep her attacks already, which is very nice, meaning that it would be good to pair with Yuhaba or Gojo if you still are somehow using him, or even Aizen. Alright, now moving on to Sakuya. She essentially works the same as Reimu, where she has layers as well, so let's go ahead and read her passive. Bullet Hell Made. After attacking 4 times, this unit will gain a new attack layer. These layers will drop when there are no targets, up to 3 layers. This unit attacks on a 1-second SPA. This number cannot be changed, only attacks enemies with invisible layers. So it's essentially the exact same passive, except she does have a different AoE. So initially she is like a cone, and then she gets to an even wider cone, and then she essentially at her 4th layer, or sorry, her 3rd layer, she becomes a like half cone, which is pretty good. So that is her attacks. Now she does only hit once, although every single layer does add another damage number on top, but it still is only hitting once. At max she is doing 11k damage, and then at layer 2 she's doing 22k damage, and then at layer 3 she is doing 33k damage. Next thing that we'll do is actually look at her King's Burden damage, so her Monarch damage. So her damage at Monarch is 44k, so that means at her layer 2 she will be at 88k, and then layer 3 she would be at 132k, I believe, if I am correct. But yeah, she is a pretty decent unit. Now there is one deceiving thing with her. She does attack every 1 second, but you do have to counter in that she does have an attack animation time. So her DPS isn't actually 132k DPS, it is lower than that. I'll get into that right now. We are in CapCut real quick just to showcase basically what her DPS actually is, because she does attack every 1 second, but she does have an attack animation, which means that she does have a slower attack. So if we go frame by frame, we can see when the damage actually hits, and then what we can do from there is basically go until we see the damage indicator show up once again, and then that's how we can work out the DPS. So as you can see, this frame right here is the first frame that indicates damage, so we'll go from that, and then if we go all the way to the next attack, which I should have already set up, as you can see, boom, there is the damage indicator again, the first initial damage indicator, which means basically she is attacking every 2 seconds, because that's every single time the damage happens, is every 2 seconds. So she is doing 132k damage every time she attacks, but we just half that, and then that would be her DPS. So instead of her DPS being 132k DPS, it is actually in fact only around 66k DPS, so it's not as crazy, but she is still pretty decent. Going into her last thing, she does have a time stop. This is a 65-second cooldown. It is unfortunately a global time, but that would be busted if it wasn't. She stops time within range for 12 seconds, so pretty decent, honestly. Looking at her second passive real quick, alongside her ability, Controller of Time, when attacking a time stop enemy, immediately gain all 3 attack layers. So essentially, this is really good for any bosses. If you are only at like your first attack layer, you would pop your time stop when the boss comes into range. She would immediately start doing her most damage she can, hand deal, which is pretty good. Also, the other thing, I don't think I showed this off before, but now that she is at her max attack, as you can see, her attack range is basically a half cone. And then like before, Sakuya is also just another good unit to pair alongside Sakura because of her set attack time. This does not change, so Sakura can benefit from her 1 SPA right here, and then Sakuya can still attack at her own SPA instead of following Sakura's one. So that is pretty much the end of the showcase. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video and have enlightened you a bit more on these units, because honestly, looking at these units initially, they do seem pretty deceivingly weak, I would say, but they are very strong. I appreciate it if you have watched this far through the video. See ya.